From the Detroit Free Press, it's Tuesday, September 29th. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
I'm Paul Egan reporting for the Detroit Free Press. Could there be a lockup in Unlock Michigan's future? The Attorney General, Dana Nessel, announced Monday she has opened a criminal investigation into the group and its petition drive. Unlock Michigan wants to repeal the emergency law Governor Gretchen Whitmer is using to address the coronavirus pandemic. But the Free Press reported last week on a secretly recorded session. In the videotape, a trainer instructs petition circulators on unlawful tactics. Meanwhile, Unlock Michigan says it has collected more than 500,000 signatures to repeal the Emergency Powers of Governor Act. It plans to submit the signatures Friday and calls Nessel's investigation a politically motivated farce.
This is Detroit Free Press auto critic Mark Phelan. The 2021 Ford Bronco's battle with the Jeep Wrangler for off-road supremacy hasn't even begun yet. But 60 years ago, one of Bronco's predecessors took on the original World War II-era Jeep and won. Following the Korean War, Ford developed a new vehicle called the Mutt, or Military Utility Tactical Truck. The Mutt, officially called the M151, looked a lot like a Jeep, but it had really advanced technology for the time and was lighter for airdrops into combat zones. The U.S. Army used Mutts for decades, through the Vietnam War and other Cold War theaters. A lot of GIs actually thought it was a Jeep because it looked like the World War II model. The most obvious difference was the Mutt's horizontal grille openings, different from Jeep's famous vertical grille slots. The Mutt's lightweight engineering changed how Ford developed vehicles, and when the first Bronco arrived in 1965, Ford General Manager Don Frey said, quote, "The Bronco will draw on the broad experience Ford has had in building the M151, a military vehicle popularly known as the Mutt." Unquote. The Mutt's biggest drawback was a tendency to roll over. Engineering updates reduced that problem, but very few retired military Mutts were ever used as civilian vehicles. The Humvee replaced the Mutt as the Army's standard vehicle in 1985.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. As it gets colder, public health experts fear the flu, on top of the deadly coronavirus, will be a double whammy. And one survey suggests kids are especially at risk. A health poll released Monday by Mutt Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor found 1 in 3 parents don't plan on taking their children to get the flu shot this year. The hospital's survey of nearly 2,000 parents found many just don't see the flu vaccine as urgent or necessary. 14% of parents surveyed said they will not seek the flu vaccine because they're keeping children away from healthcare sites due to the risk of coronavirus exposure. Others may not be getting reminders to get the flu because healthcare providers have limited the number of patients for in-person visits. But there was a glimmer of good news in the national survey. Of the parents who said their children got a flu vaccine last year, nearly all intend to do it again this year.
This is Phoebe Wall-Howard, an autos reporter at the Detroit Free Press. I spoke with Rex Roy, who lost his job at age 57 and didn't panic. When Jack Morton Worldwide cut back due to the coronavirus, Rex Roy lost his job as vice president and creative director after working on the Detroit Auto Show, the Woodward Dream Cruise, NASCAR, and the Detroit Grand Prix. Roy decided to create a new company, a new business, called MyCareerSnapshot.com. It creates, in a visual, different way, in numbers and images, a supplement to resumes, offering in hope to help others just like him find a new job.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, and one more look back at the Detroit Lions. After their 3-point win over the Cardinals on Sunday, the forecast doesn't look as gloomy as it did, say, a week ago. Sure, that's the nature of the NFL, but considering how they played in Arizona and what's ahead on the schedule, there's reason for, dare we say, optimism. Carlos Monarez explains.
I like the talent they have. They use Jesse James. There's little things that you've seen from this game, from the Cardinals and from the 3 games collectively, that it all adds up to this team is going to start hitting its stride, especially when they start playing the easier teams like the Panthers and Washington and all these other teams, Jacksonville. That suddenly it's going to be, oh my God, wow, look at how good the Lions are. Well, it helps when you have easier competition. But I like the way that they've stuck together. I like the way the 3 phases worked really well together yesterday. That's what gives me the most hope that this team knows. Interceptions and turnovers, they come and go. You can't really control them too much. But I think that this team has room to grow. They will grow a little bit. I think especially defensively, they'll find their footing a little more. As long as they avoid injuries, big injuries, they have some hope.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.